All right, part 4 of the view meter. Um, let's just jump right in and start doing these ceramic capacitors. So let's start with we've got a 103, the 102. I had these all nice and sorted, and then they aren't anymore. All right, so, oh, what is that? That's a 282, and then that one's a 104. And this one is a 103. All right, so let's start with the 102, which is 1 0 and then 2 zeros in picofarads. So that's 1,000 picofarads or 1 nanofarad. And then we have to figure out where it goes. It goes right in here. I definitely should have done this one much more early on in the build. Oh, oh boy. It's not still in there. Where did it go? Oh boy. I will be right back as I find that capacitor I just lost. Of course, I find it nearly instantaneously after I shut off the camera to give myself time to find it properly. Oh well. Alright, so 102. Go in there. And we're going to spread the leads way out so that it stays put. I don't normally like doing it that way, but I didn't plan this quite well. Come on, there we go. And there we go. Okay. I don't like doing that because it makes the solder joints stick way out to one side. Alright, well, let's just keep going. Alright, and then we need a 104 right up in here. Again, I did not plan this very well. There we go. We'll go ahead and solder those into place. Boom. Boom. Nice. Alright, now let's do the rest of the 104s if we can find them. There's one there. Let's actually put the stacks in this direction. There we go. And then the other 104, actually I'm going to have to do these individually because they, oh no I don't, I just do that. And the other 104 goes, where do you go? That's 103, that's 103. 104 goes here. Alright, now let's solder those into place. And, right, I only put 2 components down, so that's good. I do not like having to do that. Alright, next, let's do the 103s. So there's a 103 right in here. And then the other 103 goes here. There we go. We'll just solder those into place. Come on, there we go. And there. And there. And there. Alright. So there's those now on the board. Alright, and then there's just one left here, which is a 222. The 104s, of course, would be 10 and then 4 zeros, so 100,000 pico, or 100 nano. And this one is 222, which is 2, 2, and then 2 zeros, so 2.2 thousand picofarads, or 2.2 nanofarads. And it goes right there. And then the 103s would be a 1, 0, and 3 zeros, which is 10,000 picofarads, or 10 nanofarads. Picofarads also being referred to by people generally in the audio industry because they run into, as you can see, capacitors of that value are fairly common. They will sometimes call it puff, picofarads, PF. All right, so now we just have a whole whack of transistors here, and then a bunch of LEDs, which I have to decide which color or which order I'm going to put the colors. But let's go ahead and do some of the transistors. Now we've got two different transistors in this batch. We've got these ones here, which are S9012s, and then we've got these, which there are 30 of, which are S9013s. So the 9012s are PNP transistors, if memory serves. Go ahead and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And then the 9013s are NPNs. So we do have to pay attention to which ones are which. Now thankfully, the 9012s are labeled here on the board, and they're right here. Here. And here. It's very hard to see the text on some of those, but it's a fairly logical setup. All right. Those are getting held in rather nicely by friction. And then, of course, the 9013s go everywhere else. So we'll just go ahead and throw these into the board. There we go. I've got quite a bit of friction holding them in, so that's useful. So the holes are spaced slightly different from the leads, which makes them stick in the board nicely, but you don't want to push them in too hard so that you don't stress the package out too much. So, and we're just going to go ahead and follow the silk screen shape for these transistors and trust that they got it right. The transistors have kind of a D shape on the silk screen, and the transistors themselves are also somewhat D-shaped. Probably for that very reason, to help ease the placement of the devices. Never really did much research into why they shape transistors the way they shape them, but it stands to reason that they did it for ease of component alignment. That's something I should have included in my transistor video. Didn't occur to me at the time to do it, though. Alright, so I'm doing this completely out of focus and totally off camera. Sorry about that. Just listening to me ramble while I do something off camera. That's exciting content. Oh well. Boy, I hope I get all these components right, because troubleshooting this would be a royal pain in the butt. But I guess, actually, it would be fairly easy to narrow it down to a single issue. Like if an entire row of LEDs isn't working, then it's probably something in the initial filters that's making them not work. But if only one LED is not working, it could be something much more simple. Yeah, this is probably the most populated board I've ever done. I'm realizing I probably should have done the LEDs first. Oh well. That'll be an adventure for the future. So I'll probably do that in its own video so that we can solder the LEDs on and test them in one video. Alright, so almost got all these transistors placed. Considering doing a jump cut, not sure yet. What are we time, man? Like, well, considering I can't seem to keep them in focus. There we go. Let's change the focus there. Alright. You know what? I am going to go ahead and jump cut, so I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Oop, and I just bashed the table, so the microphone will make a horrible noise, but yeah, I already seated and soldered most of the transistors, but we're just going to finish up this last row on camera. I decided that soldering nearly 140 joints on camera would probably be terribly boring, so I got them all placed, and then I took a little bit of a break to stretch my back and make myself some tea, and then got back to it. I've done this all in one sitting, but I'll be releasing the videos gradually, about once, maybe twice a week, so you guys will see them over a longer period of time. I've actually got a number of kits I need to build. This is the first one that I got to, which is weird because I only got it in the mail today, but yeah, I've got a couple more in the works. Alright, so that's all of the transistors soldered into place. And then we'll do our normal clipping of the leads. It's getting a little toasty on the back of my hand because I'm holding my hand over top of the soldering iron. That's alright. I've almost got all of these clipped off. I think people actually used to, do this, like any piece of electronics you bought back in the 80s, you'd pretty much expect that was all soldered by hand by somebody, and some of those boards would have just absolutely insane component counts. Imagine this times 100. Anyway, I think that's good enough for this part. Next part we'll throw the LEDs into place and give it a go. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, consider clicking here to subscribe. Right over here will be a video that YouTube thinks you'll find interesting. Over here is going to be the View Meter playlist, and right here will be a link to Patreon, which you can use to support videos like this. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in part 5.